What's good, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. It's your boy Race Blaze. If you're new channel, remember to subscribe to all that great stuff. So today we are gonna be setting up the control rig in Unreal Engine, and pretty much just come along and follow what I'm doing. I'm gonna explain some certain challenges I found, but and how to resolve those challenges. Okay, so this character here, the Flash, is in this kind of pose. So one thing I would like to mention is when you import your character and bring it here, always ensure that the character is facing this way, like facing the camera, sort of. Because if he's facing backwards, it's gonna be complicated when setting the control rig. Okay. So my character is in sort of like a pose. Doesn't really matter. You can have it in T pose, A pose, it's still gonna work. And also I have some morphs, so the morphs actually work as well. So I'm also going to show you how to set up the morphs as well. It's pretty easy to set up. So yeah. Okay, so we can close this. We don't need anything here. So now I'm going to right click here. And before you do that, you want to actually enable control rig, which is here. So just go ahead to enable that, and you can see that on your viewport. So I'm going to go to create, and then we can say, sorry, create control rig. So I'm going to call this Flash rig. Okay, we're going to double click that. And when that happens, we're going to have this come up. Okay, we have the rig hierarchy, and then we have the actual viewport. So I can actually drag this to the side here. Okay. So this is all our the hips, all the joints that came with it. And by the way, this is a Mixamo skeleton. So pretty much I'm using a Mixamo skeleton. If you use other type of skeleton, it's the same thing, it's basic things, the same. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is, let me explain what forward and backward solve is. So forward solve, basically, we are directly controlling the animation with the control rigs in Unreal Engine. So there's no like manipulation of baked animation. While backward solve is, inversion, you want to manipulate an animation. If you already have an animation, you can bring that in Unreal Engine, bake it, and then manipulate it with backward solve. So we need to create both actually, if you want to have that working for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is right click here. I'm going to go to new space. So now we can actually just unparent this, okay? And then we're going to call this root space, okay? So we have that in there. Now we're going to create our controls. Now you can either right click here and say new control, or you can hold Control N. Now before I create the rest of the controls, I want to do something. I want to change this to circle thick, and then change this to 90 degrees. Then maybe change this to 0.8 because it's too big. Don't need it to be that big. I think this is okay. So now I can actually duplicate. So we need offsets, hips, spine. Now keep in mind I'm going by my hierarchy here. Okay. So we have spine 1, spine 2. So roots, offset, hips, spine 2, spine 1, spine 2. And then we need the neck and head. Okay. So let's just put that as parent of each other. Now I can go ahead to, name our controls. So call this offset control, and call this hips control, call this spine control, call this spine 1 control, Call this spine to control. Call this spine neck control. And then we have the head. So pretty much we're giving our control names so we know what we're doing. So you can actually move this root. Okay, so I'm just gonna move this bit down here. You don't need it to be up there. So let's move this maybe. Let's move that 100, 120, 130. No, 120 will do. Actually, it looks kind of small to me. Let me make this 1. We can make that 1. And then the offset, I'm going to change this to diamond thick. Oh, not diamond thick, but octagon. Yeah. And then let's move this to 122. So that's okay. Looks pretty good. And then the hips, I'm going to change the color to green just because I like green. So all this will be green. Now, I mean, this is your choice. You don't have to do this, but I just like it, you know. Just like this. Now keep in mind, if you create this control rig, you don't have to do all this process again. So that's the good thing about Unreal Engine. Okay, so now let me just minimize all this. So for the hips here, we're gonna copy the actual position of the skeleton joint. And I want to say Control V. So basically you can just go here, copy, and then spine here, you want to paste global transform. I'm using the shortcut, that's why. So do the same for the other ones. They have done spine, yeah, that's the one. Spine 2. Oh, that's too big. We'll correct that. And the neck too as well. Neck is way too big, man. And then the head. Okay. That is way too big. So I'm going to correct the hips first. So make this like 0.7, 0.7, 0.7. Then maybe the spine, I'll make this 0.6, 0.6, 0.6. You don't want to make it too big because when you're animating, you want to see your character, you know. So you can make it literally small. It's all right. I think I'll reduce this to maybe 0.6, 0.5. And maybe the spine here 0.5 as well. Then the hips, I'll make this 0.6. Then the neck is way too big. I'll make this 0.2. Okay, 0.2 is too small. Then the head, we are gonna make this 0.2. So obviously the head is way in the wrong place. So what I'm gonna do is I am just gonna move this up. I'm moving like 20 degrees. Okay. Okay, 30, 20. Okay, 20 is inside. Maybe 25. A little bit up. Okay, that looks good to me. Right? For some reason the neck looks a little bit in the wrong place. Let's move this -10. -5. And then I'll reduce this. Trust me, you don't want your joints to be, I mean your controllers to be too big. That will interrupt your animation. Okay, so we'll set this up now. We're going to go into the nodes and we can actually link this to a sequence. Click on sequence here. So we're going to start off with the hips to the head, and pretty much I am just going to get a node that says set transform. I want to set transform, and then we want to also get transform. So basically what this is doing is the information from here is getting passed on to the controllers, so that in that way we can actually, you know, control that part of the body. So I'm going to say propagate to children. Now, the meaning of propagate to children is basically if you bend the hips, the rest of the children, which are the spine down to the head, will also move with it. So that's what propagate children is. So let's go ahead to connect our transform here. I'm actually going to disconnect this. And now we can start work with the hips bind. Then I'll change this to control, then call this hips control. So now we just have to do the same thing for the spine and all that. So I just duplicate all this, actually link it up, duplicate, link it up, duplicate, link it up. So pretty much it's not really complicated, and you're gonna see how easy it is. To be honest, if you use the mannequin, it's just not gonna help. It didn't help me. The mannequin skeleton didn't help me at all. Okay, so now change this to the spine, and then spine control, and change this to the spine 1, and then we change this to spine 2, then we'll change this to neck as well. Then we want to change this to head here. Okay, so that is done. Now let's test it out. Compile, save. So when we bend this, it should work. See that? Even if you bend you move the root, it's gonna move. Move this part, it's gonna move as well. You move your neck, where's your neck? It's gonna move. You move the head, it's gonna move. So we're done with that part, like that easy. Okay, so I'm just gonna name this as call this hips to head. Okay, so keep in mind that this is actually using the current location of the actual head joint. Like look at this. This is negative 8.6 and 1.9. So this is actually using this, you know, location, which is here, and it's transferring into the controls. So if you don't use that method, like copy the location of the joint, the head might be a little bit down, and it's just going to be all over the place. So that's something I realized. So yeah, you have to do that. Okay, let's do the leg. So for the leg, I'm going to right click here, create new space, call this legs. Or you can call it foot, actually. Foot left space. So let's go ahead to create new controls. So I'm going to change this to, again, circle thick. I can leave it as red, I don't mind. And change it to 90 degrees. So let's duplicate this. Maybe I'll change this to maybe 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. Maybe 0.3. Kind of look too small. No, actually 0.2. Okay, so we need the toes, and then we need the knee. And for the knee, I'm going to unparent, then drag it in here. So this will be knee left control. That did not, okay. So let's go here, circle, click, 90.3, 0.3, 0.3. Then this would be toe left control. So this knee, I'm going to use a diamond thick, then make it really small. You can actually make it 90 degrees like that. Okay, let's make it smaller. Yeah, make it smaller, 0.1. I don't need it to be big, to be honest. Okay, so this one will be our foot left control. All right, so I am gonna mirror all this. Okay, I'm gonna right click mirror, but before we do that we need to select everything. So I'll select everything here, then mirror none. This will be L, and this will be right. So pretty much that just mirrored everything, so we don't do that again, you know. Saves time. Okay, so make this tool here. Okay, so next step is to actually copy all the locations. So I think, okay, we're done with this. We can minimize that. So with this too, we can minimize that. So now for the right foot, I'm just going to copy and then paste to the right side. And then for the toe, do the same. The toe is too big actually. What the heck? I think that toe is too big. I don't need to be that big. Let's make it 0.15. Actually, just make it 0.2. It's okay. And then for the knee, actually for the knee you can just, okay, for the knee we're going to use the location of the right leg. So let's just use that there. And then I'm going to move this to maybe -50, sorry, 100. Just move it far away from the actual location of the leg. Okay, that's too far. Let's make it like 80 or 60, actually 50. 60 will do. So I want to do the same thing for the left. So left leg, copy to the knee side. Then I'll make this 50 or 60. And then let's do the left foot. Draw V there. And then the toes. Copy this. Oh, the wrong thing there. Control V. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with this part. So let's set up the nod. I'm gonna grab this here and move this, move all this up. So for the leg, we're gonna be using basic IK. So you want to type in basic IK here. Let's disconnect this. So next thing we want to do is to grab the get transform control. So we're going to start off with the foot left. Actually, I'm just going to drag this in here, then say get control. I want to grab the knee as well, get control. Okay. So pretty much we are going to grab this transform to the effector and then drop this down and then go to rotation, sorry, translation into the pole vector, and then we're going to say propagate to children and change it to location. So basically, this will actually move the leg wherever you want to move it to. If it's in direction, you can actually move it freely. And then the propagate to children basically controls all the hierarchy, from the parent to the child. So that's what that means. We're gonna have some problems with the leg. I kid you not. You see. So yeah. Anyways. So this is left up leg, then left leg, then left foot. You want to bring that over there. Now you can actually go ahead to move basic IK. So when you do that, you're gonna have something like this, which I already told you about. So the reason why this is happening is when you, for example, if we look at the control bone transform, let's change this to, so let's look at that again. You can see that the axis is going down, not up. So what we need to do is to change it here. I'm going to zero this out. And I think this should be -1. And then the secondary axis, I'm going to zero that out. And maybe -1. Okay? So that fixed everything there. See that? So if this, if this formula doesn't work for you, you just have to figure out where your y-axis is. In my case, it's z, so that's why I made it -1, because it was going down. So if I move this here, oh, it's still tumbling. Okay, something is definitely wrong. So let me make it the other way around. Let's see. Okay. So yeah, like I told you before, man, the legs are very complicated, to be honest. So let me look at the control again. So control bone transform. So this is going down. So I think this should be my y-axis. So let me put this at -1, change this to 0. And then I'll put this to the 1. Okay, so that did something. So let's see now. Okay, that works better now. See that? That works fine now. Okay, so let me see. Still not working the way I want it to. Okay. Okay, I see. So what we need to do is we need to move the location of the knee. So I'm just going to make it farther. Okay. And then compile. So now if I move this, okay, that still didn't work. So let me see. So let me right click here. Then set initial from current. Let's see now. Still not working. So the knee to me is very complicated. I don't know why it's happening like that. Okay, I'm just gonna reset all this. So let's see. I'll disconnect this. Then just reset. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna delete this. I'm going to new control. Call this knee left control. So let's change this to diamond thick. Use this to 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. So now I'm just going to move this here. And then I'll set initial from current. So let's connect that back. Okay, and then compile. Connect this again. See that? That works now. Okay, that works pretty good now. So if that doesn't work, you have to correct this here. And it's not even in the right place. Look at that. So let me see. I'm going to disconnect this now. As you can see, it's not in the right place. So just move it here. Just move it. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the left leg. And then it's at -2. So let's see. Let me grab it here. Then I'll right click and say set initial from current. So let's connect this again. That moved a little bit, but it's okay. Okay, that looks better now. That looks better. Actually, I'm going to move it further. Yeah, it's not in the, it should be on the leg, you know. Let's grab this, set initial from current, and then move this here. Okay, I think that's the right position now. Yep. That looks good now. Perfect. So we want to do the same with the other side. So I'm going to delete this. I think I'm going to just duplicate this guy here. And then bring it over here. Change this to right. And I want to, so position is this. So let's drag it here. Drag it here. Okay. Then set initial from current. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate all this and just bring it here. Then we want to connect this and change this to right. Knee right. All this should be right up. Right up leg. Right arm. I said right arm. Let's see, right foot. Right leg. So this should be in location, correct? Forget the children. So let's go ahead to connect this now. See that it moved? So we are in the right position. If we grab this, it works perfectly. So ladies and gentlemen, that's how you set up the legs, okay? And then if I grab this down, you see our character is bending properly, you know? See that? Bends properly. So we need to also set the toe. I see nothing's working for the toe yet. So let's go ahead to, I'm gonna right click here, so set rotation. Because the toe only rotates, right? So you just want to set that up. Then let's bring in the toe left control. You can click on propagate to terrain, doesn't really matter. Now for the transform, I'm gonna use the rotation only. Then change this to toe left toe. I'm gonna use the toe joints. Duplicate this. Do this for the right side. Then we want to do this for the right side here. So let's connect this. So now it should be okay. Okay, that didn't work. To left. Is this connected? Why? Okay, that works. Okay. But the right doesn't work. I think we connected the wrong one. Oh, right toe end. See that? This should be right toe bend. Okay, that works now. So pretty much the legs are set up. The only challenge you might face is this axis problem. But again, you just need to go to your control point transform and see where the direction of the joint is heading. Okay, usually heads down, so you make that y negative y and your z-axis 1. Pretty easy. Alright, y'all, so the legs are done. I'm gonna hold down C, call this legs. So now the next thing is the arms. Now for the arms, it depends on what you want to do. Like, do you want to do IK animation or FK animation? For me, I rather do FK animation because it's better. You know, I can manipulate more freely than IK. So in order to set up like FK animation, what you need to do is you can minimize all this. So I'm going to go to the spine here. You can actually minimize all this. So all we just need is, let's minimize the fingers. Trying to be minimizing things here. So what we need to do is we need to actually create the controls inside of the joint. I know it's weird, but that will allow us, when we control the hips, it will move with our arms. You know what I mean? Like the way it's having it do right now. So let's go ahead to do that. So start with the left shoulder. Let's create a new space. Call this left hands space. So now let's create controls. So I'm just gonna change this to circle thick. Now change this to 90, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2, maybe 0.3. Okay. So I can leave that as red, doesn't matter. Now let's duplicate. So this will be our left up shoulders, left arm, left forearm, left hand. Okay. So let's call this left shoulders, control. Call this the left arm control. I'm gonna call this the left forearm control. And call this the left hands control. Okay. So I'm pretty much gonna do the same for the right shoulder as well. Go new space, right hand space, new. So, by the way, I forgot. Let's just connect this circle thick. 0.3, 0.3, 0.3, and 90 degrees. So this. So left shoulder. Oh, sorry. Right shoulder control. right arm control, right forearm control. Then we'll do the right hand too. Control. Okay. So that is good now. So now we want to copy the locations of the joints into our controllers. Right arm. This looks a little small, don't you think? Why? Oh, it says gizmo. That did not duplicate. Oh, I should have said Control W. Okay, it's fine. It's alright, yo. Whatever. So we'll do for the right forearm too. Circle thick. Then we'll do for the right hands. Circle thick, 90 degrees, 3.3.3. I do think that the forearm is too big, so I'm gonna make this 0.2, even with the arms. Okay, that looks good now. Save this, and then let's do the left shoulders. So I'm gonna copy the location of the left shoulders, copy here. That looks good. Then let's change this quickly. Make this like a circle thick, 3.3.3. So let's copy the left arm, which is here, copy here, paste it there. And the left forearm, you can actually just go ahead to copy it. And then the left hand, copy and paste there. So I'll make this 0.2, 90. Circle thick, left forearm, 0.2, circle thick, and 90. Okay. So we are all set for the arms too. Looks pretty clean, professional. You know how it is. Always try to look professional, you know, in my opinion. Anyways, so let's grab this. So basically everything we did here, we're gonna do exactly the same thing for the arms. So what I can do is I can just grab all this, then duplicate, then bring it down. Oh, never mind. Never mind. No, actually we can do that. What am I doing? Yeah, we can do that. That's fine. So let's go ahead and duplicate all this. Actually, I just want to duplicate this part here, not the actual. Yep. Okay. So again, I'm not using IK, so I'm not going to be using this basic IK stuff. I don't like IK. If this is like FK setup, in case you guys are wondering. So now let's go ahead and change this. So I'll start with the left shoulders. Change this left shoulder control. And then the left arm. Left arm control. Then the left forearm. And the left forearm control. And then this will be the hands. And the left hand control. So we want to do the same for the right as well. right shoulder control, right arm, right arm control. Let's duplicate this. We need the forearms and the hands. Like this. Right forearm. Like this here. Right forearm. And right hands. Then right hands. Alright, y'all. That's done. So you can go ahead to connect this. Boom. Compile, save. So when we move this, it moves properly. 3D easy. That's how easy it is to set up CONTROLRIG. Look at that. Everything works, you know. Let's go to the arms. Works too. Go to the hands. It works too. So, like I was saying before, if I now move this, that will move with my arms as well, which is what I want, right? Now, if you don't want the arms to move, all you have to do is remove the controls from the joints, and then the arm will not move. So if I unparent all this, and then I move this, see that? That will not move with it. And then you have to set up basic IK, you know, so that this can actually stay in a location. So yeah. Okay. So we are nearly complete with the forward surf. Let's do the fingers. Now the fingers, I'm not gonna do everything just because it is the same thing, you know, connecting all the bones and all that. So I'm just gonna do a few and then you guys can figure it out, you know. All right. So for the fingers, I am going to go to my, let me start off with the right. So we want to create a new space inside the right hand. Okay, so when we bring this down, should have this here. And we'll call this right fingers space. And then we want to call create new controls. Now for this, I'm going to use box. Obviously that box is way too big. Even that is too big. Still too big to me. Okay, so we can use that. Let me make this 90 degrees, which doesn't do anything. So now I'm just going to duplicate the thumb for the thumb. So drag this here, drag this here. This is the right thumb. Thumb 1, bind the controller. So right thumb 2 controller, and then right thumb 3 controller. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy out the location for that one. I think the box is too big, but we'll see. So let's do 3 now. So that looks pretty good. Yeah, I like that. Okay. So now what we want to do is to, let's just make these hands. Call this C. These are our hands. Okay. So we want to do exactly the same thing here. So basically, y'all, the steps are just the same, to be honest. So I'm just going to duplicate all this and then bring it down here. Then we're gonna move it here. So now I'm gonna look for the right thumb. We'll just go to thumb here. Thumb 1. Make this thumb 2. So I'm just gonna do the thumb, and then you guys can do the rest. It's basically the same thing. So this will be thumb 1, thumb 2, and thumb 3. So now can actually, so let me just disconnect this. Oh, wait 1 sec. This is left. That should be right. So let's just disconnect this part here. We don't need that. So grab this and bring it here. Then say compile, save. So when we click here, this works perfectly. See that? Oh, that is not working. Oh, that should be right. Shoot. So let's change this to right, then connect this. Okay, that works now. Yep. So pretty much that's basically what you have to do for all the fingers. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you literally set up control rigs. It is not complicated, not at all. So in my next video, I'm going to be doing the forward solve. Okay, so that should be exciting. So let's test this if this actually works. Okay, so if let's delete this guy here. Let me bring this character here. Let's turn him here. All right, you can see it works nicely. Have him move. Looks pretty good to me. Just have him animate. Now this is real time, you know. It's crazy, right? So yeah, pretty much that's the whole procedure on how you set this up. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, all right, yo, go ahead to have fun with that. I'm gonna catch you on the next video. Take it easy and peace.